Yeah. And this wasn't even in our prep call. And I'm like, just like moving in my seat because I'm like so excited to share because like most things, I feel very passionately about this. Okay. So in all of my previous companies, there is always this conversation. The associate engagement survey came back and nobody feels like they're getting learning and development. Nobody feels like they're getting that. And you know what happens? Every single HRBP and every single leader with the best of intentions is like, what 3-day class can I send my people to so they feel like they're getting developed? And we all know that these like magical transformational experiences are not happening in a 3-day workshop. They feel great. And there's like a couple of nuggets, but it really is the consistency. And so this is what companies and leaders don't do that drives that. This is based off of zero data, by the way, and just my own experiences. That's the disclaimer here. This is what they're not doing. So in Radical Candor, Kim Scott talks about having a conversation with every single one of your direct reports around what they want to do with their lives. It has nothing to do with on this team, at this company. It's just in your life, what do you want to do? What are your big, bold goals? And then what we should be doing is when we are having conversations about projects and work, we are linking why our teams and why the individuals on our teams are being placed on these projects. Hey, you want to, I don't know, run your own restaurant one day. Okay, so here are like the core things that like you as a human just need to practice, get exposure to in order to build that skill set to maybe go off and do that one day. You should be having conversations with your team on that's what the whole purpose of being on this project is. And so much of our conversations are on timelines, and a project comes in and leaders are like, who has time for this? That is the wrong conversation. You move projects around to give the projects to the people for their own development, for what they want to develop, and you have a constant conversation with them. It's not 3-day workshops, although I love all of the vendors out there that do 3-day workshops, but we're missing the conversation, and people are burnt out and they have too much going on and they just can't see the forest through the trees sometimes, myself included.
I guess if we think about the managers and helping them to have these conversations with each direct report, and we think about like the learning and the development for these managers, like, you know, how are you thinking about that piece of it?
I think you have to kind of attack it at all angles because yes, for the managers, you need to put into your programs and also your talent strategy. If you have development plans, how are you having those conversations? And so how you instruct managers to do that is a piece of it. The other piece of it is that you have to have all of the leaders modeling it. And if you don't have the leaders modeling it, it doesn't matter what we teach in the manager programs. And so I do think it is an organizational culture issue where, you know, I think that I'm a huge fan of Radical Candor, but I know that not every organization can like really get their mind around it.
Yeah.
But I think that if you could just take this piece of having a conversation with the whole person, which I think collectively we've all decided that there is no longer the work person and the at-home person, it's just one person. So if you can find out what people want to do and what brings them joy, and you start modeling that, I think it just becomes easier.